Chosen one. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because right now there is a reckoning in the spirit. Right now there is an unveiling, a splitting open of what has been hidden inside you for too long, the truth about your voice and the authority it holds. I want you to think about every time your voice trembled in a room, every conversation where your words were swallowed before they ever hit the air, every sleepless night you spent rehearsing what you should have said, what you wish you declared out loud. Your voice has always been the target, not just because of what you might say, but because of what your voice carries, what it shifts, what it commands. Authority that is recognized not in volume, not in eloquence, but in the place it comes from. Let me show you what's happening right now in the spiritual realm. Right now, as your voice cracks, authority is amplified. Right now, as you dare to speak even with shaking tones, the darkness recognizes something in you it can never counterfeit. Let me break this down for you, because your voice betrays your lineage. Your sound exposes your assignment. Every inflection, every word that cost you, is a signal flare to the invisible world that you are marked, chosen, and dangerous. Some people think spiritual authority is shown in the titles they wear or the platforms they mount, but I'm telling you, authority shows up in the way your no rattles the plans of the enemy. Your yes can shift an entire household into blessing. Your smallest intercession can silence 10,000 accusations. Your tears are not just water. They are evidence. Every word you've spoken in pain and confusion in the dark, authority leaks through all of it. Even the moments you whispered, "God, help me," and thought it was weakness, right now heaven records it as thunder. The world may measure voices by impact, by applause, but heaven listens for submission, for trembling, for obedience. Chosen one, there's more happening with your voice than you realize. Let me tell you exactly what's at stake when you open your mouth. Not just sound waves, not just communication. Destinies open or close with what you release. There are rooms you enter where the very atmosphere stiffens when you speak. Conversations where it feels like you're pushing against a current. Job interviews and doctor's appointments and family table confrontations where your voice becomes the dividing line between inheritance and emptiness, between blessing and breakdown. They wanted you silent. Hell wanted you quiet, battered, intimidated by your own accent, your vocabulary, your history. Not just to embarrass you, no, but to sever you from the weapon in your mouth. Your tongue is a sword. Your language is leverage. Your sound is a summons, and right now, as you read this, the pressure on your throat tells the story of why the enemy fights you so hard. Every time you felt foolish, stuttering, apologizing for taking up space in conversation, every voicemail you dreaded returning, every time words stuck like glue to the roof of your mouth, you assumed it meant defeat. But listen to me. Every block, every moment of hesitation, every stretching silence has been training you for a sound that shatters chains. Right now, in the spirit, your hesitancy is producing humility, and your humility is attracting reinforcement. The enemy isn't afraid of your natural pitch, your skill, your cleverness, but the authority that leaks through your surrender. You don't have to know what to say. You just have to refuse to go silent. Let me take you into an hour you know all too well. It's 3 a.m. and your whole body is tight. You're wide awake, lungs shallow, mouth dry as paper. Your phone screen is lighting up the ceiling and filling the room with the wrong kind of light. You scroll, you pace, you replay conversations in your mind. That quiet standoff with your boss when you wanted to speak up but you felt the words choke. That friendship gone cold because you couldn't find a way to say what needed to be said. The family group text you left on read because you knew if you opened your mouth you'd be misunderstood. Again. Your mind races, your muscles ache, and you try everything. You take something warm to drink, pop a melatonin, mumble a desperate prayer. You promise yourself you'll say it next time. And still, the air is heavy. There's no relief when the sun comes up. You go through the motions, but behind your teeth is a dam about to break. You're asking God, is this all there is? Do I even have a sound that matters? 3 a.m. Panic tells you you're weak, unqualified, that it's too late, that your window closed while you were frozen. Panic lies. Heaven waits for your sound, that stubborn syllable, even a stammered help, because that's where breakthrough leaks out. You may be sleepless, but you are not voiceless, and what presses on your chest at dawn is the signal that your silence has an audience and your voice is rising to its answer. Let me show you what starts shifting the moment you find your voice, the moment you use it raw instead of perfect. First, in your finances, doors that slammed on your dreams start creaking open at the sound of your decree. Where bills stacked up and accounts ran dry, new streams emerge. Not just unexpected checks in the mail, but old debts forgiven, clients calling back after months in silence, discounts and favor in unexpected places. Your authority overrides opposition. Where your requests were rejected, suddenly your name is on someone's heart, overnight, without explanation. Let me take you into your closest relationships. There's been strain, there's been silence, misunderstanding that felt like a mountain. But the moment you stop shrinking, start speaking truth with trembling lips, bridges form. That friend you thought was gone forever sends a message. Apologies surface. Hearts soften. Communication shifts from icy to honest. The conversations you dreaded become places of healing. Suddenly, where there was only shutdown, now there's warmth. Reconciliation. Possibility. Not just with friends, not just with family, but even the stranger on the street senses something steady about your sound. A kindness with backbone that turns suspicion to trust. Now your health. Let me explain why your voice is connected to your healing. Years of stress, pain bottled up. Things never said out loud have shown up in your body as tension, illness, exhaustion. You thought it was just life. But I'm telling you, when you start releasing your real sound, lamenting, praising, crying out, there's a shift. Sleep deepens, blood pressure lowers, headaches back off. Even chronic aches begin to fade. They wanted you mute because they knew healing is in the release, authority is in the confession. Where doctors had no answer, your honest sound becomes a weapon and a balm. Career and calling. Let me break this down for you so you never confuse stage with stature again. As you use your voice, even trembling, even uncertain, new doors swing without effort. Where you were overlooked, now you are called out by name. Your applications go to the top of the pile, recommendations find you, platforms appear, invitations come out of nowhere. You don't have to network your way into destiny, you just have to open your mouth and watch what God does with the sound. Suddenly, strategy bows to authority. Let's talk about spiritual battles. Battles with guilt, anxiety, torment. The enemy wanted you muzzled because the authority in your sound is what drives torment away. When you speak the truth out loud, even whispers on your pillow, shame loses its grip. Accusations evaporate. Nightmares clear out. Your voice uproots fears that therapy alone couldn't touch. Reclaim your ground with your sound. That's the secret. Now decree with me. They tried to silence you, but your voice multiplied. They wanted you embarrassed, but heaven increased your boldness. They starved your confidence, but overnight authority started feeding you. They plotted confusion, but you spoke clarity. They closed doors, but your voice opened gates. They ignored your request, but your declaration drew favor. They discounted your weakness, but your trembling sound carried thunder. Suddenly your shame became a platform. Suddenly your confusion became a weapon. Suddenly your silence broke their systems and your surrender put a crown on your head. Right now, right now, right now, your voice is revealing your spiritual authority. And there is nothing any power, any system, any enemy can do to stop it. Chosen one, as you read these words, Something ancient is breaking beneath the surface. There's a reversal at work, bigger than anything you can trace with logic or write off as coincidence. What has been pressing down on you, holding your voice hostage, is now breaking apart, not with shouts or fireworks, but with a subtle surge, a quiet refusal in the marrow of your spirit. A refusal to shrink 1 second longer. You felt locked out for so long, sitting at tables where your input went ignored, making suggestions in meetings only to watch others run with your ideas as if they were never yours, staying up nights justifying your own value to yourself because the world made you question it. But right now, the heavens are flipping the script. All the shame, all the times you swallowed your conviction to keep the peace, every backward step you took so someone else could have the spotlight, all of it is under review. The more you tried to keep quiet, the more your spirit rebelled, until you couldn't bend low enough to fit inside their boxes. This isn't just revenge, this is a holy reversal. Let me show you how the pattern breaks wide open. The same places that stifled you are about to echo with your influence. People who dismissed you yesterday will seek out your counsel tomorrow. You will see invitations come from old adversaries, collaborations emerge from unexpected corners. The very rooms in which you once felt invisible will become stages set up for your authority to resound. Let me take you into that moment when silence used to win, the work conference where your voice barely made it across the table, the family meal where you bit your tongue while old insults circled the air, the church meeting where others' opinions bulldozed yours. There is a fresh boldness waking up inside you, and you'll notice it in small, almost laughable moments at first. A question you ask that silences a crowd, a truth you share that brings awkwardness followed by breakthrough. You're not trying to prove yourself anymore. Something deeper is operating. It's the quiet confidence that's born from years of spiritual bruising. The voice of one who knows what it is to be muzzled and has run out of patience for every form of counterfeit peace. There's a reversal when people sense that you're not auditioning for approval. You're declaring what must be said because you've seen the cost of silence. Right now, your tone has weight. It isn't just style, it's substance. It carries history, and more than that, it sounds like deliverance. Those who stood in agreement with your silencing, watch how they scatter. People who used to treat you with disregard now turn awkward in your presence, their laughter a cover for confusion because they realize you don't need their yes. You don't need their applause. You hold the keys to authority, and your voice makes that undeniable. Let me show you what vindication looks like in the realm of the spirit, a season when everything silent gets shouted from rooftops. Vindication is justice served cold and clear, not by your hand, but by the laws of heaven that never let falsehood stand forever. Suddenly, stories twist back in your direction. The narratives spun against you begin to unravel. People who whispered against your name find those very rumors bouncing back like ricochet bullets. Every lie, every manipulation exposed in the daylight for all to see. Watch as tables turn. The ones who shut you out become the ones locked outside, peering in on a movement they cannot stop. Your name, once dragged through mud, begins to surface in unexpected places, not with old accusations, but with honor. Your resume, overlooked for months, now floats to the top of the stack. Projects you thought forgotten resurface with favor you did not orchestrate. Contacts reach out wanting to make amends. Apologies flow from places you assumed were dead ends. This is not about ego, it's about justice. Vindication restores what was stolen, but more than that, it gives you back your sense of alignment. You notice as you speak now, your words hit harder, not because you shout, but because those who once ignored you can't deny the weight behind them. Even in groups where you once played small, your voice has a gravitational pull. People quiet down to listen. Old enemies grow restless, sensing their control melt. When you sing, it carries healing. When you correct, it carries conviction. When you comfort, it carries supernatural reassurance. Vindication means you are no longer forced to defend your own worth. Events themselves, circumstances themselves, the very air in the room testifies for you. Let me tell you something about public reputation. What was once a sore spot is rapidly becoming your testimony. You aren't hiding anymore. There's a glow, a visible evidence of someone who survived things they shouldn't have survived. Even your posture shifts, shoulders back, head high, not out of pride but freedom. Those who labeled you as too much, too loud, too sensitive, and are now confronted with the reality that your voice was always necessary. You'll notice critics grow quiet, former bullies avert their eyes, those who thrived on your insecurity now uncomfortable in their own. They see something unbreakable in the way you speak and carry yourself, and they can't explain it away. Some will apologize, others will just fade away. You'll have the choice to restore some relationships, to bless those who cursed, but you'll do it from a place of authority, not approval chasing. Now, chosen one, let me press you beyond vindication, because the story doesn't end at being proven right. There's a holy commission waiting for your voice now. In the same way you used to monitor your words, now you'll become intentional in your declarations. Instead of tiptoeing, you push forward. You catch yourself speaking out truth in rooms where cowardice once ruled, and you realize it's contagious. People around you begin to find their voices too. The quiet ones come close. They're hungry for the sound of courage. You won't have to start movements or build platforms to make this happen. Just keep using your voice with integrity and watch as ripples turn to waves. Let me show you how this commission operates in daily life. Ordinary moments that become extraordinary because you step into them full of authority. At work, you confront injustice and policies change. In the community, you speak up for the overlooked, and suddenly support rises where there was indifference. In your family, you break generational curses, not just by praying in private, but by declaring blessing publicly out loud in the presence of old wounds. Each time you say what must be said, you clear ground for those behind you. Your children, your friends, your peers start to echo your boldness. This commission is not about noise, it's about knowing. Knowing when to speak, knowing who to defend, knowing the timing that turns mere words into miracles. Every time you obey that nudge to open your mouth, heaven records it as an act of faith and a weapon against every generational silence. Commission means responsibility. Sometimes you'll say hard things. You'll confront compromise, apologize when necessary, refuse to cover up the truth even when it would make life easier. You become a safe place for confession, for others to rediscover their backbone, because something about your humility makes honesty safe and healing possible. This isn't about drawing attention or building a brand. It's about turning your sound into sanctuary. There will be moments you hesitate, moments the old fear tries to crawl back, telling you not to rock the boat. But now you recognize it for what it is. Last-ditch intimidation from powers that know their grip is shattered. You speak anyway. Each phrase, each truth, each drop of honesty spoken in faith makes the way wider, the atmosphere lighter, the enemy's grip weaker on everyone in the room. Let me tell you, the voice that once made you afraid is now your signature, your authority, your commission. Let others chase after applause and validation. You'll wake up every morning asking, "Oh Lord, where do you need my sound today?" There will be assignments not on your calendar, people who cross your path by accident. But you will feel the urge. You'll know instinctively when your words are the breakthrough someone needs. Miracles hang on your courage. The difference between bondage and liberty in your world rides on whether you hold back or pour out what's been given to you. God didn't rescue you from smallness just so you could fade back into decorum. He lifted you because your unfiltered, trembling voice is the call to arms your generation has been begging to hear. Now is the time for the decree, and I want you to feel it in your bones. Right now, overnight, the patterns are broken. Right now, everything that held your voice in check is losing power. Right now, the rooms that dishonored you are becoming stages set for your sound. The same voices that once accused are silent in awe. The circles that locked you out now circle back, seeking your wisdom. Right now, shame is burning off you like morning fog. Right now, where you once whispered your fears, you thunder your commission. What the enemy plotted for your shame became the very weapon of your vindication. They wanted you hidden, but you're emerging with fire. They hoped you'd regret your sound, but regret is drowning in rivers of confidence. They wished you would retreat, but heaven is pushing you forward. They closed your mouth, but now your voice opens doors for you and for those behind you. Right now, vindication is your portion, reversal is your evidence, and your commission is not tentative, not borrowed, but blazing at full strength, now, overnight, without apology, forever. Chosen one, if you could see what's shifting around you right now, you'd know your quiet seasons were never a waste. They were the birthplace of your present authority. What felt like wilderness was the training ground where heaven etched your sound with a weight no man can counterfeit. You didn't just survive being overlooked, you were transformed by it. Let me take you deeper into what reversal really means in this hour, because it's not just a one-day event, it's a daily eruption. Constant openings where there used to be only closed doors. The very ground you once called barren is beginning to bloom under your feet. The silence you once despised has become the womb of your new voice. All the nights you spent alone wishing for someone to advocate for you have produced a voice so sharp, so honest, that now you are the advocate, now you are the line in the sand, now you are the deliverer who stands between oppression and freedom. Not just for yourself, but for every silent one within earshot. Let me show you how this reversal feels in the small things before it ever breaks through in public. You wake up one morning and realize the anxiety that used to grip your throat before every difficult conversation is less a chokehold and more a distant haze. You answer the phone without rehearsing every word in advance. You sit at family gatherings where tension used to paralyze you, and you find yourself speaking peace, redirecting old arguments, refusing to nod along with old lies. When negativity tries to settle, you counter it openly. People look at you different, sensing that the former hesitation is gone, and what's left is not forcefulness but unmistakable clarity. What felt like timidity was actually the roots of discernment growing deep, pushing down through stone, preparing you to stand upright when the wind changed. Now the reversal gets public. You'll catch it in the way others respond. Those who never bothered to listen before now find excuses to be in your orbit. People who once ridiculed your honesty now come with their secrets in the hope you'll speak something over them that lifts their shame. It seems sudden to them, but you know it's the result of all the years your voice was pressed down, the seasons of not yet, the prayers that felt like empty echoes. Now praise is flowing, honor is rising, doors are opening not because you demanded them, but because your very presence unlocks something that can't be forged in self-promotion. Your vindication isn't you standing on a stage reciting wounds for sympathy. It's you walking into old battlegrounds with a steady step, unbothered by those who once gloated, uninterested in revenge, but sure of the fact that your voice now pivots the whole room without fanfare. Let me show you the real heart of vindication. It's not about seeing your enemies beg or watching their misfortune from a safe distance. No, the real miracle is in watching who you become as God rewrites your story. Vindication is when you can look at the systems, the people, the seasons that once muted you and realize they don't own a single square inch of your future. There's a peace that comes when you no longer need to explain your absence, your delays, your refusals to participate in every game, every compromise, every parade of ego. You become unshakable, immune to the stings of slander and misunderstanding. Your confidence isn't loud, but it's immovable. Nobody can move you because you're standing on the bedrock of what God has done in your silence. Let me take you into the aftermath, into the places where victory becomes routine. You step into meetings and without raising your voice, shift the agenda just by stating the truth plainly. Your emails carry negotiations that close gaps no one else could bridge. Friends and family breathe easier in your presence, trusting your judgment because it's no longer contaminated by the need to prove yourself. People sense the difference, a kind of glowing resistance to manipulation, an authority that's rooted in surrender, not striving. There's nothing to prove, and that is what makes you dangerous in the best way. Watch as those who tried to write your story now stammer for relevance in the space you've carved out without bitterness, without boasting, just by being relentlessly real. But chosen one, vindication always comes with a higher calling, and here's where commission takes full shape. Authority attracts assignment. You aren't just vindicated to lounge in comfort. The weight in your voice is a summons into the struggles and wounds of others, and heaven trusts you with that power now because you know what silence costs. Expect moments when strangers start confessing their deepest fears to you without knowing why, when young ones hang on to every word you say, when leaders ask for your view even if you don't have the earthly credentials. You'll notice you don't run from hard conversations anymore. Instead, you initiate them. When conflict appears, you don't flee, you step right in. You carry peace where there was disorder, direction where there was drift. Your prayers uproot cycles that have lingered in families for generations. Your forgiveness unlocks those who bound you with offense. Your sound is a tool in the hands of God to mend what religion and tradition could not fix. Let me paint you a scene of your commission in motion. There's a tense atmosphere, a boardroom standoff, or a family crisis boiling over. Every solution has failed. Tempers are high, blame is flying. You aren't loud, but when you speak up, something shifts. Words come, unplanned but perfect. They break the deadlock, restore laughter, diffuse suspicion, release strategy. It's not that you're smarter, it's that you're surrendered, tuned in, willing to risk awkwardness in order to set captives free. And when the dust settles, people remember one thing, the sound that changed the outcome. They might not thank you in words, but watch the trust grow, the invitations expand, the influence deepen, the legacy begin to write itself in the actions of those around you. There will be days when the old fear tries to grab hold again, when awkward silences return, when someone tries to put you in your old place. Don't let that deceive you. It's not regression, it's resistance against your increase. Your authority doesn't depend on flawless delivery, perfect timing, or universal applause. It's the willingness to keep speaking anyway, to keep blessing, keep correcting, keep calling out the gold in others even when you're tired, misunderstood, or misquoted. Every imperfect declaration releases heaven's atmosphere. Every trembling stand sets a new boundary. Every truth told in love sets the enemy on notice that this territory is no longer his. Let me show you the ripple effect. The commission multiplies. Others begin to imitate your boldness. The overlooked start raising their hands in meetings, releasing their stories, offering their input. Children who watched you suffer in silence now model your resilience. The family members who once dismissed you come back with questions, seeking wisdom on how to navigate storms. Your consistency births culture. It's not about a moment of vindication, but a legacy of honest sound. The authority you walk in rewrites narratives for people you never meet, because the freedom ringing from your voice keeps echoing, opening more doors, breaking more chains. Now, as we approach this closing decree, I want you to taste the magnitude of what has been set in motion. Right now, reversals are overtaking the places of loss. Right now, the rooms that conspired against you cannot deny what rests on your sound. Right now, Vindication runs like oil down your head, soaking every dry place that once seemed hopeless. Commission is no longer an option. It is a mantle you wear with ease. The enemy's plans dissolve unannounced. Influence that was out of reach yesterday is rolling toward you today. Where they demanded silence, you are commissioned with authority to speak healing, declare future, break shame, build bridges, and restore what religion, what pride, what cruelty tried to erase. They wanted you fearful, but heaven unleashed you. They wanted you invisible, but heaven dressed you in clarity. They schemed to bury you, but heaven broadcast your sound. They hoped your flame would flicker out, but heaven poured oil and made you a burning torch. They wanted you cautious, but heaven called you courageous. Overnight, you stepped from hiddenness into mandate, from apology into assignment, from hesitation into holy audacity. Every old chain is snapped, every generational muzzle destroyed, every destiny blockade overturned. Right now, you are a carrier of reversal, the living evidence of heaven's vindication, the voice that shatters silence and builds futures. Go commissioned, go bold, go free. Doors are open, the sound is released, the mantle is on you, and nothing will reverse what God has spoken over your life. Now, overnight, unstoppable from this day forward. Chosen one, there's something burning through every layer of your history right now, something no force can put out. You need to understand that this reversal is not only cosmic, it's intimate. It is sweeping and it is precise. Heaven isn't just rearranging circumstances. Heaven is stripping the shame from your story, peeling back the layers of suppression and letting your true voice spill into the places it was always meant to reach. This is the moment where you realize all the years of smallness, all the careful self-erasure weren't a curse. They were a preparation. This is where you see with new eyes. The rooms where you thought you had to fit, the groups you once tried to please, were never the measure of your impact. The script flips, and now it's not you chasing rooms, it's rooms rearranging themselves to fit the sound that comes from you. People you never expected begin to make space. Organizations change policies just to benefit from your presence. Systems that never thought twice about your absence now cannot afford to ignore your contribution. This is reversal, not as revenge, but as a rebalancing. All the false weight you once carried is falling away, and your voice rises unencumbered, ringing out with the evidence of divine justice. Let me take you deeper into this reversal, into the secret places where vindication feels like spring after endless winter. There used to be moments, you remember them, when the cost of speaking felt too high, when keeping the peace felt like a slower death but the only available option. Nights after confrontations, you'd replay every word, wondering if you were the villain. Years spent biting your tongue until it bled, letting others dictate the narrative, not because you agreed, but because you were conditioned to believe your truth was an inconvenience. Now, as the reversal takes root, you find those same situations shifting without effort. Conversations that would once leave you trembling now break open, not with conflict, but with clarity and invitation. People apologize without being prompted. Opportunities rebuild themselves after being snatched away. Leaders who bypassed you suddenly recall your insight and seek it out. You realize the struggle was never about them seeing your worth, but about you refusing to let your sound be cheapened by their approval. In vindication, you realize you never needed rescue, only space to become unwavering. The irony is that vindication always shows up when you stop needing it. You quit fighting for a seat at tables built off insecurity and pride, and now the hosts of those tables are calling you, wondering what changed, why your absence echoed louder than your presence ever did. Watch how your reputation travels ahead. Recommendations come from mouths that never directly benefited. Rooms you never entered already honor your name. The stories that once shadowed you with misunderstanding now reappear as evidence that you chose the hard thing, the honest thing, the higher ground. Vindication is not an announcement. It's a shift in gravity. Suddenly, old lies have no traction, gossip shrivels in your presence, and those who trafficked in your mistakes have nothing left to sell. There's a glow around you that can't be mimicked. Others try to figure out the formula, but what's radiating from you comes from harvest, not hustle. Let me show you vindication's gift. Release. Not just from what others did, but from the compulsions to re-explain, redefend, reframe your every motive. You stop wasting energy on who never listened, who only wanted you smaller. Grace floods your conversations. You find yourself blessing those who slandered, praying for those who sought to shrink you, forgiving what others called unforgivable, not because you're a martyr, but because you're free. The most tangible proof of your vindication is this: peace sits with you. You don't fantasize about them watching you win. You care nothing for performance. You're content building what was always in your heart, steady, relentless, uplifting. Vindication closes chapters and opens gates. That's its design. Nothing can be taken away that wasn't meant only for a season. Right now, everything meant for you is returning, and what's not for you is releasing its grip effortlessly. And now, your commission grows clearer. You used to think calling was something you'd step into once you were perfect, once your voice stopped shaking. But heaven commissions you in your authenticity, in unscripted moments, in the ordinary exchanges where someone's quiet desperation meets your unexpected honesty. Hear me. You're being given not just permission, but a heavenly charge. Speak what you see. Call out lies where you encounter them, but more. Call out gold where the world only sees dirt. Encourage, correct, intercede, proclaim. Your commission multiplies with every risk, every refusal to retreat, every time you bless a room simply by refusing to be anything less than undiluted. There's no magic formula to commissioning, only obedience. Only the willingness to carry this weight with joy instead of fear. You'll discover your words carry prophecy. They announce new seasons, break unspoken curses, build new alignments. Your commission is not measured by the immediate applause, but by the invisible seed sown. You may not see the outcome on your timeline. Do not measure effectiveness by the echo, but by the obedience. Commission looks like this: a single word of compassion that keeps someone from going off the ledge. A challenge, gently placed, that alters a generation's trajectory. A prayer mumbled in the hallway that becomes the pivot in a family's future. You'll find your schedule interrupted, delays that seem random, chance encounters with divine timing stamped all over them. Heaven trusts your voice to do what no system, no tradition, no amount of effort could ever manufacture. Shift reality itself. When you speak, atmospheres change. When you're silent, it's strategic. When you declare, the ground shakes. When you sing, peace is enforced. You don't inherit this by accident. This is the result of perseverance through misunderstanding, through ridicule, through those nights when your only prayer was, "God, please let me disappear." Now you know you were never meant to vanish. You were meant to take shape as a force that makes darkness tremble. Let me show you the fruits of divine commission in real terms. The organization that once ignored you suddenly starts shifting their entire culture after one idea you dared vocalize. The neighbor who avoided you now seeks your perspective. A child once closed off comes alive with vision after hearing you claim hope where there was only despair. The anxiety that hounded you, that gnawed at your ability to function, is replaced by rest. Not because you're stronger or smarter, but because you yielded to the one who shapes destiny in the sound waves of surrendered people. You'll see others emboldened by your example, colleagues, friends, even former critics. The days of apology are ended. You live clean, you speak plain, you fear nothing but losing alignment. Others start echoing your courage. Cities change, families change, inheritances shift, not in drama, but in the steady tide your voice carries. There will still be dark nights. You won't always feel fiery, but that's not the mark of true authority. The real sign is you keep showing up, you keep blessing, you keep opening your mouth, faithful, unfazed, undistracted by atmospheres that once unmoored you. This is what it means to walk in commission. You build where anything less than obedience would be considered rebellion. You declare what's true even if no one wants to hear it yet. You empower those with no advocate. You dismantle cycles with one act of courage, one release of blessing. Over time, this becomes culture. Obedience becomes momentum. Movement becomes legacy, and nothing the enemy invented can stifle it. Now I want you to step all the way into this closing decree with me. Right now, heaven is ratifying what the earth doubted. Right now, the places that buried your voice are becoming the first witnesses to your rising. What they tried to choke out is the fragrance that's awakening those still asleep. Where they insisted on your silence, your sound multiplies. Where you were cast aside, you become cornerstone. Where intimidation planted weeds, you now harvest righteousness. Where entire bloodlines surrendered to shame, you established a new inheritance with your yes. Right now, rooms are bending to make space for you. Right now, the deliverance in your decree sets captives free. Right now, influence is transferred not by force, but by the simple thunder of your faithfulness. They hoped you'd crack, but you became unbreakable. They planned for your withdrawal, but you established outposts. They plotted smallness for you, but heaven expanded your reach. They wished you'd doubt your place, but you walk every corridor with fire. They wanted a whisper, but heaven unleashed a river. They wanted you last in line, but you are first in impact. They wished you left no mark, but your legacy is everywhere. Right now, reversal is completing its work. Vindication is undeniable, commission is irreversible, and your voice is setting the standard for a generation. Now, tonight, and forever, without apology, without retreat, with holy thunder on your tongue.